Hey there viewer, I have a question for you. Are you from the West? Are you a traditional Sigma GigaChat conservative that is tired of the woke agenda in the world and the woke propaganda that is destroying everything? I bet you are. Now would you like to be able to live in a more traditional and based society? Oh, and also, do you guys not mind potentially becoming cannon fodder?
As ordered.
Well, if you answered yes to all of those, I have great news for you because Daddy Vladimir Putin is coming to rescue you because Putin just signed an official Russian law that is supposed to make it easy for foreigners to live in Russia if they quote-unquote are doing it because they want to escape Western liberal ideals. Yes guys, what I'm talking about right now is absolutely real and not a joke. Russia is now actively inviting Western conservatives to move to Russia. Hey there everybody, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in this channel previously I've already talked about quite a few Westerners who moved to Russia, including some absolutely insane specimen, yeah, like that guy for example, who got a Z tattoo right on his chin. Supposedly there's news out there that the guy's actually on the front line right now, so you know, RIP to a real one. But seriously, throughout the last 2 years, there's been no shortage of Westerners appearing in Russian propaganda videos in which they basically praise Russia and say how it's the safest and the best and the cleanest country to live in, where there's no homeless people, there's never any trash on the ground, and also, of course, no woke degeneracy, only traditional values and based conservatism.
I walked around the center of Moscow for 1 hour. I said, wow. I don't see any gays and liberals on the streets. I see men and women couples. I don't see transvestites. I don't see homeless people. This place is heaven on earth. I'm moving here forever.
I've reacted to a ton of these videos. They're absolutely awful. And as a Russian, watching them is painful. But yes, we've heard a lot of stories over the last 2 years about conservative Western families moving to Russia in order to escape the woke LGBT propaganda of the West or whatever.
I'm right now in Russia, which might be a controversial country for many people, but also here in Russia, it is one of the most traditional countries that you will see in the world. Absolutely no PC, absolutely no of this.
There's all sorts of Westerners moving to Russia saying the reason we're moving to Russia is because in the West you cannot say anything anymore, there's no free speech whatsoever. Russia, of course, being the most free country in the world. The bastion of free speech, in fact. I, as a Russian, would testify so, totally. Yeah, this whole thing kind of became a new industry in Russia, almost. And now being a Westerner who lives in Russia and praises Russia for Russian propaganda is basically kind of like the new white monkey job in China, you know what I mean? And well guys, once again, like I said, now Russia is not only just promoting itself to Westerners, but is actively inviting them to come over and move. For some reason that we're gonna get into. So here we are, this is TASS, this is Russian media saying, Russia offers safe haven for people trying to escape Western liberal ideals. I cannot believe this is fucking real, dude. I cannot believe this is happening. Under the document, such foreign nationals will have the right to apply for temporary residence in Russia outside the quota approved by the Russian government, and without providing documents confirming their knowledge of the Russian language, Russian history, and basic laws. This was on August 19th. Moscow will provide assistance to any foreigners who want to escape the neoliberal ideas the neoliberal ideals being put forward in their countries and move to Russia, where traditional values reign supreme, according to a decree signed by President Vladimir Putin. Oh my fucking god. Yes, this is real. So, essentially, if you're a foreigner who wants to move to Russia, all you have to say is that you're really triggered by the woke agenda of the West, and that you feel scared, and that you need a safe space. How very ironic, right? And then what happens is that Russia will give you preferential treatment to any other migrants or anybody else trying to move into the country, and you won't even have to know a single thing about the Russian language, Russian history, and basic laws. Honestly, I think that is the catch right there, honestly. The fact that Westerners will not have to pass a test on the knowledge of the Russian laws, so the Westerners, these insane people who think that Russia is a more free country than any country of the West, they're gonna move to Russia and say some crazy shit because they believe that Russia has more free speech than America, and then they're gonna get jails in Russia. Because what they thought was legal is actually not. That would be poetic. And then you can also basically mobilize them right from the prison, so it's fucking brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. Jesus Christ, I gotta give kudos to the Russian government. Now look at a couple of articles about this, and all of them mentioned that specifically, Russia specifically said that they would like to give residency permits to foreigners whose countries are forcing destructive neoliberal values onto them. Which is kind of like hilarious to me, because what is Russia if not neoliberal? Russia literally operates kind of like the United States in everything they do. Like, Russia is literally a liberal, almost fascist, capitalist country. Like, I don't know what they're expecting. What are you talking about? Is being gay neoliberal? Applications may be based on the rejection of the country's policies, which run counter to traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. The values are listed in the foundations of Russia's state policy in this field, while the Russian government is expected to compile a list of countries imposing unhealthy attitudes on their citizens. The Foreign Ministry has been instructed to start issuing 3-month visas to such applicants as early as in December. So yes guys, what can I say? Epic win. Once again, if you're an epic conservative that is tired of the woke agenda, Russia is here for you. Vladimir Putin is going to unshit your pants and is going to make your wife come back. Yes, that is happening. Now, the reaction to this from right-wingers in the West has been pretty normal, of course. Here's Alex Jones, for example, saying, "Breaking! Putin just dropped a bombshell decree, inviting people from all across the globe who are fed up with the globalist neoliberal nightmare to seek sanctuary in traditional Russia." Traditional Russia is, by the way, a complete myth. Russia was never that traditional as a country. There's a long history of homosexuality and, in general, just sexual deviancy in Russia, back in the Tsarist Empire times, etc. In the 90s and in the noughts, there was a lot of stuff happening in Russia that was really not that traditional and not that base conservative. Russia is not some bastion of conservative values, and in fact, it's not even that religious. Georgia is the most religious country I've ever been to, by far. Where every taxi driver crosses themselves when he passes by a church, that's when you see that a country is religious. This new decree blows the lid off the establishment's agenda, letting freedom-loving folks bypass the usual bureaucratic nonsense like language tests or history exams. I mean, yes, of course. Who needs history? Who cares about learning language, of course? That is very American there. Come to Russia, my friend, where everybody speaks perfect English. If you're ready to reject the insane policies of your home countries that push the destructive anti-human neoliberal agendas, Russia is rolling out the red carpets. No pun intended. The Russian government is about to compile a list of countries poisoning minds with these twisted ideals, and the Foreign Ministry is gearing up to issue visas to true patriots as soon as September. It's time to stand up for spiritual and moral values. That makes sense to me, that a patriot of America would move to Russia.
Right now, Juan and I just found out that Vladimir Putin signed a decree allowing people like Juan and to apply for residency, temporary residency in Russia just for simply disagreeing with the moral policies of our countries. I disagree with the moral policies of the United States government. Juan disagrees with the immoral policies of Argentina.
Damn, I also disagree with the moral policies of the United States and Argentina. And Russia, by the way, which is I'm kind of fucked, aren't I? I just have no place in this fucking world.
So now, oh, thank you, God. This is the news we've been waiting for. This is it right here.
Yes, very happy. I just love the fact that the Russian government essentially cares more about the lives of foreigners than they do about the lives of actual Russians and Russian citizens. But, you know, I'm not exactly not used to the government not caring about my life. So cringe. So cringe. Putin is not religious. He does not care about Christianity. He's a KGB officer. Jesus Christ. Thank you, President Putin, for giving Christians and white people around the world an opportunity to save themselves and their families. It's not good. It's not looking good. It is so comforting to know that those who share conservative values can have a place on earth where they will be respected. Dude, no people with any values are respected in any... Like, what is this? Anyway, let's not look at Twitter too much. I want to give this a little bit of an analysis. First of all, as far as I understand, this has already kind of been in the works. For example, last year, Russia announced that they're going to build a so-called migrant village for conservative American expats. Which is, you know, just incredible, and honestly, I'm kind of scared because I think Americans will probably colonize Russia if they actually start having settlements like this. But on a serious note, yes, Russia has been definitely appealing to the conservative demographic in America and the West recently. And I've already talked about this on my channel for years, that Russian propaganda and the Western conservative propaganda coincide pretty much all the time in their views on gender, sexuality, etc., right? So essentially, if you don't like trans, gay people, etc., Russia is saying, hey, we also love segregation, we also love, you know, not giving equal rights to human beings who might have different feelings or whatever. Hell yeah, dog, let's fucking go. Freedom. And look, I've kind of poked fun at this inside thing. However, in all honesty, I kind of feel like even though this is ridiculous and funny, Russia kind of has everybody outsmarted on this one because unfortunately, I don't really see a scenario where this would be like bad for Russia. And they're kind of like doing the right thing, almost for them and for their agenda and for what they want to push. I don't support Russia, I don't like their agenda, I don't like their propaganda, but they're doing the right steps for them. Because, you know, I don't actually expect like a ton of people to move to Russia through this, but those who do for sure will become a sort of a tool of propaganda. They're gonna be given, you know, a nice village in the Russian countryside to have their ideal lifestyle. They're gonna have these, you know, foreigners walk around the center of Moscow and St. Petersburg and talk about how beautiful and, you know, pristine and clean everything is and so on. How there's never any homeless people in the street and there's not a single trash once again. And again, in any case, Russia has complete control over these people too, so once again, it's kind of the obvious thing to joke about how, haha, you know, Russia's gonna send every single one of these, you know, based conservative Americans to the front line, you know, to get exploded or whatever. Yes, that is funny. The idea of a based, you know, epic guy from Twitter with the handle Groiper USS Liberty 1488, you know, moves to Russia because he wants to be based in Trad and then gets mobilized or whatever. That is funny. However, on a serious note, we've just seen that huge prisoner swap that happened between Russia and the West, and Russia essentially got a few people they really wanted by essentially offering American citizens in exchange. And what if Russia has like thousands of American citizens to choose from and to pull from at any point to bargain with the West and do another exchange or something? I mean, it's genius, isn't it? Also, once again, they're gonna be doing propaganda. Also, they're gonna be, you know, paying taxes or whatever. So overall, it's just a win-win for Russia, kind of. And again, you know, like, these people who are going to try this and move to Russia or whatever, bless their heart, once again, like, good luck. Good luck, you guys, you know. You need to understand that you're essentially embarking on a journey of complete lawlessness, random, and, you know, I feel like the next 10 years of your life are going to be very, very exciting, to say the least. Not happy, not positive, just exciting. You're not going to be bored, essentially. You won't get a break, that's what I'm saying. Because we, the Russian citizens, we never get a break. But the thing is that really the only major downside I'm seeing for this with Russia is that if you're going to be giving out visas and residencies willy-nilly, left and right, you know, just by basically with pretty much no background research, based simply on the person saying that, you know, they're side of the woke agenda and the, you know, the left wants to take away their penis or whatever. There's a big chance that some of these expats or whatever might end up being spies, and, you know, there might be like thousands of Western spies roaming around Russia, but, you know, that's just something up to them to handle. I don't really care. I'm just saying that if I was president, I would maybe consider that. But actually, I want to bring up a pretty interesting point here, which I'm probably gonna get shit on, but Russia is essentially kind of doing what the West is not to the people who support them in Russia, you know what I'm saying? I mean, at this point, right, we're pretty much in a situation where we're gonna have an Iron Curtain coming up between Russia and the West, and essentially you either end up on this or that side. And once again, when the war between Russia and Ukraine just started, honestly, I expected the West or Western governments to kind of reach out to anti-Putin Russians more in a sense, and maybe actually provide a certain program for Russians who disagree with this war and who, you know, once again, have certain skills or a certain decent income to obtain a visa. I mean, I understand that's already possible. That's already possible through like digital nomad visas or work visas or whatever. And Russians are moving to the West. And again, I'm not really complaining because I still managed to do it. It was just a, you know, difficult process. I live in Portugal right now, once again. But there's a lot of Russians who are stuck in different positions where they actually are not able to apply for a visa. A lot of these are people who left in the very first weeks of the invasion, kind of like me, who didn't have the time to prepare any documents, visas, or anything. So these people are stuck usually in third countries without a citizenship or a residency. They cannot apply to go to Europe, for example. There are certain countries that do provide that. For example, I'm aware that Germany has a humanitarian visa that Russians do get if they're, for example, stuck in a situation where they're essentially being persecuted for their views or whatever in Russia and they're stuck somewhere else and they cannot apply, which is great. But, you know, honestly, once again, some Western politicians were coming out at the start of the war and saying that, you know, we will figure out something to, you know, kind of hold the hand of help out to the Russians who actually, you know, don't want to be Z and participate in this insanity. But essentially, that's kind of where it ended, and there's not been much development since then, I feel like. And there's a lot of people who criticize that, saying that, you know, Russians can't be allowed to get in like this. They're all, you know, Z imperialists, they're all scum, or, you know, they're all gonna be spies, you know, secretly destroying Europe. And look, whatever, you can have a discussion about any of those points, but what I'm saying is essentially is that Russia is actually trying to do what the West wouldn't do. Whereas the West collectively hasn't really offered Russians any kind of like way out of their situation if they're a Russian citizen who does not support Vladimir Putin and who wants to leave Russia. Russia is actually doing exactly that. They're like, okay, so you guys out there in the West, you know, you're Z, you're like conservative, traditional, you know, you guys hate gay people as well. So yeah, come over and let's have, you know, let's be a jolly old family. And they've already signed the decree, so supposedly this is already going to start happening now. And again, you might say that Russia is doing this just to send people to the front line or whatever, but I honestly don't know, because this is kind of it's a decision that makes kind of too much sense for modern Russia, especially for a country that makes very bad decisions and usually signs very bad laws. To have a law that actually makes sense and to try to bring people who support you over to your side or whatever might be actually kind of genius. Or I'm just probably dumb. I don't know. I probably just don't understand anything about it. I just probably don't realize that once again there's probably a huge danger of spies here or whatnot, but I guess we'll see. If this really does start happening, let's see what is going to really happen to all these Westerners-based conservatives who are going to move to Russia via this new visa because they hate the woke agenda. So what do you guys think about this? Would you guys like to move to Russia because you're tired of the woke neoliberal agenda of the West or whatever? Is this a visa program you're going to be taking part in? Well, I cannot exactly say that I agree with your, you know, point of view, but again, I'm very interested. So please type it down in the comments that if you're actually planning to do this, and I will be very interested to follow your story and see how it works out for you in Russia with this entire new visa program. So let us know. We would all love to watch it, but none of us are doing it. Because sure, Russia has a lot going for it. But I just cannot understand the decision of moving to Russia, especially right now. It's a little crazy, but God bless. God bless. Anyways, guys, I guess that is going to be pretty much it for today's video though. If you guys did enjoy it, then please make sure to slap that like button. And once again, guys, if you would like to support me, support this channel, additionally, and that is financially, then go over please to link down in the description and become a YouTube member. It's basically like YouTube's own version of Patreon. Is the best way to support me. Or you can also do a super thanks underneath this video for a one-time donation. Thank you guys once again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.